me. You can just start with the radar. Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Brad Travis here at WAFF, tracking these storms coming through the area. There has been a slight weakening with some of the storms, but they're still pretty strong. We've got a lot of quarter-size hail reports out of these storms, and we're going to continue to see a tremendous amount of lightning with these storms. So the new storm that's been developing, we've been watching since our 6 o'clock newscast, moving into Athens. We're going to get into all these storms, tell you what to expect. I will tell you the ingredients don't appear there for tornadoes, but we could see some isolated damaging winds if these storms do collapse here with time. So let's get into these storms here. I just want to show you, hold it the right way here. But what we've got are these supercell thunderstorms. These fired along a boundary that was left over from the storms we had this morning. And this is one of the concerns we had with this first alert weather day today. But boy, we really became unstable with that sunshine. So here's a look as you go down here towards Eva and Arab, South Vinemont. The worst of this storm just to the northeast of Coleman, moving towards Holly Pond and Baileyton. You can expect damage from the hail. Anything larger than quarter size is going to damage your roof. It's going to damage your car. And when we get hail this size, typically there's a pretty strong updraft. In this case, we've got a strong updraft, but we also have some colder air aloft, which is allowing for that hail to form. This will continue to move. Probably, let's put a storm track on here for you and take a look at where we're going with this particular storm here. And what we're looking at is, as we unbutton my jacket here, I need to lose some weight, don't I? Here's what's going on with this particular storm here. It's just to the west of Arab. It's tracking to the east-southeast. It's moving at about 40 miles per hour. We're also looking at the potential for some flooding along this line too. So as I kind of move this around, you can see just on the west side of Arab now, Holly Pond at 648. At Douglas, it's pretty much 705, and right now it's 641. You can kind of see the clock there off in the distance. Sneed 708, Albertville 709. We're looking at Mountain Borough around 721, Reese City 736, Atala it's just outside of the viewing area around 740. So again, these storms are producing hail. They're producing a lot of lightning, and in fact, I'm going to go ahead and switch the radar site here as we go to the high top radar source. It's closer, so it's going to get us a better view of what's going on. So let's get down here into these storms and take a look at what we're kind of dissect this with. I'm going to turn the loop off, and then we're going to also turn the lightning off here. As we get down in here, as you turn the lightning off, you'll be able to see a little bit more of the storm. What we see here, this is the hail core, this area here in purple. That's where the most intense hail is. That's going to be just to the southwest of Eva. And I know we got several storms out there. We're going to get to all of them. As we take a look here, this is about 6.6 miles, and the radar just updated. So again, about 8 miles to the south of Eva. This is just east of South Vinemont, moving towards Pleasant View and Simcoe. So this is our hail core with this thunderstorm. This is where we're likely getting at least a ton of pea to marble, dime-size hail, or we're getting some of these quarter-size hailstones or ping-pong ball-size hail from this storm. So you can see that's kind of removed here from Eva, although you're getting a lot of rain there, and then it's probably going to stay south of Arab. So I don't expect any significant hail there in Arab with this, maybe some pea-size hail. One other thing I want to bring to your attention is a possibility. We get what's called hail fog, and that's when the hail falls and it starts to melt as it hits the warm road and stuff like that, and then you get this layer of fog that develops within that. Some hail probably ongoing right now. Highway 72 and I-65 there. Turn the lightning back on. This is over in Athens, again, Limestone County. Going to put a storm track on this. This is going to be moving pretty much. The thing is, this one's split a little bit from the others. It's moving a little bit more to the east and sliding a bit northeast. So as we get here on the west side of Huntsville towards Capshaw, large hail possible. Probably going to see a severe thunderstorm warning issued for this storm here, and that would include East Limestone, the Harvest Monrovia area, and Huntsville if it continues in this fashion here. As we get in a little bit closer, you got Magnolia Springs in here. Again, what we're watching is this area near Canebrake, Also, a lot of times when these storms split and they lift off to the north, it's an indicator of large hail that's developing. So it's probably going to be impacting the Cliff Farm area as well. Let me loop this just one more time here, get a better view on that. It's moving more to the northeast, in fact. So let me put a kind of a storm track, take this part of the storm here, and then we're going to move it just a little bit more. Kind of go in that fashion there. So this is going to put this storm, it's near French Mill now, which is out by our old Doppler radar site. Bergreen, Gin, 654, Capshaw, 655, the Cliff Farm area. It's approaching, you probably see the lightning there already, moving towards there around just before 7 o'clock. Same thing, Mill Creek Elementary, that's going to be in Madison, probably on the southern fringes of this as it moves off to the east-northeast. Bridge Street area around 709, Mid-City 708. Magnolia Springs subdivision, Endeavor Elementary area, just before 7 o'clock. So now's your chance to kind of get the car in the garage if you need to. Huntsville 718. Again, Huntsville's kind of hard to really point out here because it's so large now, but that is basically downtown Huntsville with the potential for some hail moving in. And then on to Ryland around 728 or so. So again, we'll continue to keep an eye on this. No severe thunderstorm warning out for it, but it's a developing storm. It probably has a lot of pea-size hail with it right now, but the lightning's intensifying, which is indicating that storm's probably getting stronger. Same thing's going on just to the west of Killen with that storm there. So let's take another focus here in the northwest corner of the state. Another boundary here. You get over here towards Moulton. Very large hail, perhaps as large as quarter size, maybe even golf ball with this particular storm here, just on the west side of Moulton. Let's turn the lightning off again, just so you can get a better idea. Again, when you see this, it's almost black in this area here. That is the largest hail, but we also have some smaller hail on the outside of that. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the loop here, and we'll get in a little bit closer. I'm going to switch the radar site to the closest radar, which is over in Mississippi. And you can kind of see this boundary here moving to the east. Take a look at shear rate, storm relative velocity. Again, these occasionally have that appearance. You may see some posts even talking about like a hook echo, things like that, but we don't really have the ingredients coming together for tornadoes, and we just don't see that in the velocity. But every storm, every big thunderstorm is going to rotate at some point in some fashion. So that's what we're dealing with, because it's that rotation that actually is bringing the hail. It's developing the hail. So this right here is down a bit, and I'm going to zoom out and you kind of compare it with the others. You kind of see where we have more red here. This is vertically integrated liquid. It's probably one of the better things that I use to track the hail. So the hail size is getting lower with the storm near Moulton. It's maintaining over here as you go from west of Russellville. It's been a rough evening about 10 miles north of Russellville, even in Russellville with some of these thunderstorms earlier. Red Bay, you're getting hit hard with a lot of lightning and this large hail potential here as well. As we switch back over and show you the radar, and I'll put back on. Actually, let's go ahead and look at storm relative velocity out here too. Again, there's no rotation, at least in the low levels of the atmosphere. Any rotation is going to be way up, and that's where the hail is being produced. And the other part of the hail production is the colder air that's aloft out there. So again, we don't have any real concern here with tornadoes. It's all about the hail, the very heavy rain, and the frequent lightning that continues on. And these are starting to trend a little bit farther to the south from what we had earlier today. I'm going to go ahead and put that back into motion. And this looks like the middle of spring, not February, right? That's what happens when those temperatures hit that 70-degree mark and this frontal boundary comes in. There's that severe thunderstorm warning just issued here. I was talking about that. May get a severe thunderstorm warning for this one here northeast of Florence as well. So I'm going to go back into that area right now. I'm also going to go check the computer, get a quick drink of water too, and see if we got any more reports coming in from these storms. So again, severe thunderstorm warning, mainly hail in the East Limestone area, moving towards Harvest, Monrovia, down on the north side of Madison. Again, this one's taking a bit more of a northeasterly track, which is going to take it up here towards Meridianville and Hazel Green, as well as Newmarket. So pick the brain of the Weather Service here, check the chat, see what we've got going on there. Also check some of your Facebook comments. Other thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to zoom this out while I'm off camera so we can just kind of summarize it for everyone. I'm going to take this lapse and go 30 minutes instead of a full 45 minutes. Okay. Let me get my glasses out here real quick. But again, I'm monitoring everyone's comments. Got several pages going here. You can find it from so many different sources as well. I think we're probably on YouTube by now as well with this coverage. And get a quick drink of water here. So right now our main concern is hail and lightning. Very heavy rain. There's some flooding threat developing as well within these storms.
I mean, I don't know what more.
Lots of lightning. Hodges, yeah, just a little bit of rain. Lacey's Spring getting a lot of lightning there.
It's literally a fill program. Yeah. There's no spots to put in. You're just sitting on.
Weather Service, again, upgrading that to severe thunderstorm in Limestone County. Again, all these are pretty much going as scripted, pretty much as we've been watching most of the day. A new warning issued downstream of the Coleman County for Blount County with those storms there. So let me put that back into motion, and then I'll get back up on the key wall. Just a sec. I got a text message too. Oh, okay. Let me see what's going on. Someone else's mic must be on. If you guys are monitoring someone else's mic, there's some background mic going on. So someone's mic might be on. That's never fun. Okay, yeah. So again, whoever's monitoring from the station, there's more than one microphone on. So here's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with thunderstorms that are firing up, scattered thunderstorms, large hail is the biggest concern. But of course, we've got a lot of lightning. So lightning can take down power lines. It can knock your power out. Lightning can also, knock down trees and things like that. So again, we're watching out all of these, but the flooding concern is starting to grow as well. And earlier in the week, this system, it was tricking us early in the week because we thought it was coming through all in one phase here, but it's come through in two parts. And the fact that we had the morning showers and storms earlier today, that set the boundary down. And then we had some sunshine this afternoon. It really felt like a spring day out there, and it sure looks like a spring day here on the radar. So let's get back up here into the storm. The one north of Florence is starting to show signs of larger hail. The hail core in this storm is just to the east, on the east side of Athens. That is going to be near the Publix and Lindsay Lane Baptist Church, pretty much right over that area. And that's the part that's moving a little bit to the north side of Harvest. So heavy rain now moving in, just passing County Line Road. We've got Magnolia Springs on here right there. And again, kind of demarcation, you got Endeavor Elementary. Notice how the lightning's really jumping on the north side of this storm. So you're probably getting lightning strikes here, and it's not even raining. So let me go ahead and strip the lightning off of here, just because it can't see anything else. This is basically traveling up Highway 251 near Copeland Road and Ed Ray Road. Again, hail damage a possibility, in fact likely, if this part of the hailstorm moves in your area. And let's see where that is right now. That's right down Nick Davis Road. It's probably about 8 miles west of the prison out there. Nick Davis Road and Mooresville Road. Again, this is just to the north of the French Mill area. It's odd that this is tracking, separating, kind of deviating from the rest of the thunderstorms. That's probably going to help you here, out here towards on the south side of Harvest near Capshaw. But again, a lot of lightning with this storm, very heavy rain. It continues to be intense, and we need the rain out there. We don't need all the other stuff that's going on. Let's take a trip over here towards Killen as you kind of make the turn from Highway 72 to 43. We've got a large hail developing here as well. This is as you take the road over to Lexington. This is also following the same track the East Limestone storm is taking. As we get in a little bit closer, just be prepared for large hail here at Highway 64. County Road 73, that's where this is located. It gets real hilly out in this part of the country as well. So again, that's tracking to the north. Fairly rural area, but it's going to have an impact there. Hard to find too many really rural areas here in North Alabama, the amount of growth we've had lately. Let's go back down here towards Russellville. This should be the last storm in Russellville that you guys see tonight, as we're finally seeing more of a uniform boundary tracking off to the east-southeast. Take a look at velocity. Again, that's from high top. Let's switch radar sites here real quick. As we take a look, you can see Just very heavy rain, flooding rain. Probably not a good idea to be on the road with this coming in. The hail size is probably going down. Well, let's check that. It's uniform here, but it's not as bad as it was. It's dropping a little bit. I think that this western storm here probably has a little bit more influence. Severe thunderstorm warning now issued for that other area just to the southeast of Red Bay. Moulton, this hail is probably down to nickel or dime size with that particular thunderstorm. And then we take a look up here towards Killen, the north side there. That's probably looking at pea to dime size hail with that. But definitely something to keep an eye on. Occasionally they just kind of flare up. I'm going to switch the radar site. I'm going to go over here and take a closer look at the storm near Athens in East Limestone, moving towards Harvest. You can see the core. What this product's really good at, not only for hail, but it also kind of shows you where the core of the storm is. It looks more in the mid-levels to where this storm is. So again, this is moving towards the north side of Harvest, out here just on the north side of Sparkman High School. Again, just to the west of Magnolia Springs, Old Railroad Bed Road. And that continues to track to the north and east. So I'm going to expand this view here, and then I'm going to get back to my computer. And this storm here is probably the most intense storm. This one's turning to the right a little bit too. This movement here is probably going to keep Albertville and Arab, for that matter, from seeing more intense hail. So the worst of this thunderstorm down into Coleman County is moving into Holly Pond, between Holly Pond and Baileyton right now. So the hail core is southwest of Arab, I'd say probably about 8 miles or so. So let's kind of track this just off to the south there, right at 10, 11 miles. So again, that's where the most of the hail is going to be with this storm. It's probably going to stay south and west of Albertville. I'm going to turn the radar back on here, the radar data. You can kind of see what's going on. You can really see the purple, and it gets almost black in these areas here. And we've got a spike here. This is a 3-body scatter spike, it looks like. You can see this, I'll point this out here. So what's happening is there's so much hail, the radar beams being forced back down to the ground, where it kind of has a mirror image. So that's a real indicative sign of very large hail. So we're probably looking at golf ball size hail moving into Holly Pond right now. And this, again, heavy rain in Arab, probably have some pretty intense lightning there too. Not as bad as you have right around the core of this thunderstorm. So Holly Pond, damaging hail moving in now, most likely. I'll have to check the reports in a second. This is moving towards Sneed, and it's just going to skim the extreme southern parts of Marshall County, unless we see a trend to the north, which is what we have seen up here farther to the north. You go farther enough to the south and don't have as many of those issues. But let's go ahead and expand this view here. And boy, this storm here is it's really cranking in the mid-levels. I mean, anytime you get this kind of we got a 3-body scatter spike here too. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So again, we've got the same spike here coming out of this storm. So I would imagine the hail is getting larger, in fact, probably damaging hail. We're probably going to get a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm moving into Lexington. So you want to stay indoors as this storm approaches. May see some damaging winds from this too, but we'll likely see a warning here within the next few minutes for that storm right there. Let's take a look at storm relative velocity real quick. Yeah, it's got a little side lobe contamination, probably what we call that, yeah. So again, we've got side lobe, again, big hailstorms can do that as well. So I don't think we have actual low-level rotation with that, but we definitely have large hail. Large hail, again, expecting a severe thunderstorm warning to come out of that storm. I'm going to go check some messages and just keep the radar up here for you. The storms have just started flaring up here. Thought they'd go to bed after sunset, but that's not happening. Getting Russellville area. Man, these hailstones look like they're the size of Kingsford charcoal. That was around 6:30 this evening, the most intense hail in those areas. Not seeing any other additional information from the Weather Service right now. I will check my Facebook page again. Yeah, someone was wondering if this is planned. Well, we had that first alert weather day out today. It looked as if it would clear us by about noon or 3 o'clock, but Mother Nature had other plans. Weird sounding stuff going on in Harvest. Not sure what that is. Again, checking your comments here. But we've got a cluster of these severe thunderstorms. Yep, there's a new severe thunderstorm just issued for that storm we were talking about. Again, that 3-body scatter spike. Same thing's kind of about to happen with this storm near Harvest. It's not going to surprise me one bit to see this storm near Harvest really start to crank up some hail. It's getting closer here. Again, it's odd that the lightning is so removed from the core of the storm. So you're looking at Old Railroad Bed Road, probably some hail falling in Magnolia Springs subdivision now, and then right along Nick Davis Road. As you go out towards Nick Step Farms, you get north of there, probably dealing with some hail. So this is the kind of hail that can cause roof damage. Anytime, any hail that gets over quarter size in diameter, the velocity it falls at, you're dealing with that. This warning here includes Lexington, Anderson, even the Mount Roswell and Elkmont area for this new storm coming at you from the west. Not as much lightning with it, but there's likely some hail. I mean, this is odd to see, just nothing's moving in a uniform fashion except the stuff from Russellville to Phil Campbell and over to Moulton. You've got this storm here near Arab kind of just diving off to the southeast. You got these storms moving almost east. And flooding is going to become a big issue if these storms back here from Russellville to Moulton don't subside somewhat, because the rainfall over these areas just continues to be relentless, very heavy rain. So the lightning continues to increase with the storm in East Limestone moving into Harvest. Let's see how close this is to the Sparkman High. That hail now moving along Old Railroad Bed Road north of Magnolia Springs towards Sparkman High School and Anderson Hills. So again, Anderson Hills, you're getting ready to get hit with a lot of lightning, very heavy rain. Probably going to have homes struck by lightning as well with the intense lightning we're seeing here. I'm going to reset the view and just kind of leave it there for the moment. Haven't really mentioned anything about, say, Jackson, DeKalb, or northern Marshall County because nothing's moving in yet. But this storm near in East Limestone will likely make its way towards Newmarket and somewhere in northern Jackson County. And the other storm, let's put a storm track on these storms here. So we've got this one here that's going to cross the state line up into Tennessee. And I'll push this to Fayetteville. It's not going to get there that fast. So I'm going to slow the speed down. And then I'll take the arrow down some, but then I'll increase the duration over an hour. So this storm here may make it to Fayetteville around 8:16 or so. We got Lester in the path, 7:22, Minor Hill, 7:28. Elkmont, 7:32. Ardmore, you're in there too. You probably hear the lightning. In fact, a lightning strike just south of town there in Ardmore. It's just throwing darts right on the north side there of that storm. So you're going to have an impact from lightning there now, but the heaviest rain is probably coming in a little bit later. Elkton, 7:45. Fayetteville, 8:16. I'm going to delete that storm track. What I want to do is look a little bit closer on this northern end of this storm. The velocity. And we've got, I think the most intense updraft is right here just west of Old Railroad Bed Road, and that's why we're getting the most lightning in that area. Again, no tornado threat here with this storm. But boy, it's producing some hail. All right, backing out again. I'm going to switch radar sights to GWX, turn the lightning back on. Check with the Weather Service real quick. Okay, just got a report of, had a report at 7 o'clock, so 4 minutes ago, of quarter-size hail in Killen. Again, that's that area northeast we've been watching. Golf ball size hail reported by the fire department chief along Highway 43. So that's going to be this storm here. It's throwing down golf ball size hail. So get ready, Lexington. You're about to have hail damage. This is probably going to, the worst of this will probably stay just to the west of Anderson. But this is the storm that's moving towards Minor Hill. So we've got golf ball size hail here. And I'm going to go out of this warning area. So we've got Lexington 705, Leicester 725, Minor Hill 731. Again, confirmed damaging hail with that storm there. And still waiting. We've got just a tremendous amount of lightning in and around Sparkman High School, Anderson Hills. Again, no tornado threat with this right now. Just a lot of lightning and a threat for at least quarter-size hail. We had that big 3-body scatter spike on that other storm. Let's go ahead and switch radar sites. It's not going to surprise me if we get golf ball size hail in this storm either. So let's kind of do another storm track here. This area right near Harvest, it's going to be tracking most likely in this fashion here. So we've got hazel green. Time to get the car in the garage if you can. 728. Possibility of golf ball size hail. We're looking at least quarter size hail now. On up the road around 802 Huntland. And again, it's in Harvest right now, just on the north side of Monrovia. So damaging hail. Other storms back here to the west. Let's take a look at the hail potential. We've got the hail threat with all of these storms. We've got confirmed golf ball size hail northeast of Florence with that one approaching the Tennessee state line. And we're likely seeing some of that quarter size hail between Phil Campbell and Russellville, probably somewhere very close to the sheriff's department, the sheriff's office there. So we'll probably get a report out of there if that comes through. And let me switch over to the GWX hail. Yeah. So large hail. Take a look at the hail swath. Yeah, so this kind of shows you the trend here with this large hail. These areas have been tracking to the southeast, whereas the other areas, yeah, when we get these plots here, we're highly certain there's hail with these storms. You get to where it's almost white, and that is likely. Let me see if I can check some of my other messages here real quick. Let's see these live. Sure, Daryl, you got video? You can inbox me that, or you can inbox the station as well. Let's see here. For some reason, I'm not getting the latest. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get the latest comments coming in. So numerous thunderstorms. So far, Scottsboro, you have not been impacted. Huntsville itself, no impact yet. We're going to see what happens with some of these other thunderstorms. Gary wanting to know about the lightning. It all depends on what happens. I think it's possible these two little cells that are north, those are just kind of doing their own thing. So we got these two big thunderstorms here, and they're kind of moving away from us. I think eventually they're going to run into a boundary that will no longer support severe weather. The storms here to the south are kind of making this split, and they're staying, it's almost like there's two boundaries, one north of the river, one south of the river. And if we can get a lot of rain in here, that'll probably help the rest of the Huntsville metro area on that. But let's get down here towards Hartselle. It's been a busy day from Speake over to Hartselle and Falkville. Another round coming in, potential for large hail there again. Yeah. What size hail is that, Dustin. It's probably a lot of pea size, but I imagine you're going to get some larger hail than that in there too. Quick look at Henniger. Right now, everything seems to say the south. Arab, just heavy rain. The worst of it's south of you. More hail down in the Bankhead National Forest. Let's check the Weather Service real quick. So again, the largest hail we've had reported was from Lauderdale County, north of Florence. That was around 7 o'clock along Highway 43, golf ball size hail. Got flood warnings coming out now. So flood warning for Colbert, Coleman, Franklin, Lawrence, and Morgan counties until 10 o'clock. So we figured that would become a problem here. So the storm with the largest hail near Anderson now moving up into southern Middle Tennessee will likely see a new severe thunderstorm warning put out in this area here. So weather radio will be going off for that, most likely. Switch back. Once again, I want to reiterate, we're not tracking any tornado circulations or even any developing circulations, but kind of like this area here. Notice how west of Guin, you get that little hook echo shape. Let's go ahead and investigate that real quick. So on a day if the shear was really high, we'd be really focusing in on this. But boy, that's a little bitty cell there. This thing's probably, man, this is 6 miles wide, and it's just throwing out lightning like crazy. So this is going to be moving towards Guin and probably south of Smith Lake. There's new development right on the west side of Smith Lake, by the way. Look how fast that's developing. So hopefully we can get this all to shift to the south and at least quiet down here in the next hour or so. But again, flooding becoming a concern all across the area on the path. The main flooding concern is really right through here, where we've had the heaviest rain since going back to about 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's on top of the rain we had this morning. Let me delete that out of there. Update here for Hazel Green, New Market. Let's go back in here. Storm's pulling away from at least Monrovia right now, but boy, Harvest getting hit hard with a lot of hail. Let's see, again, I'm checking messages here. The sky is green. Yep, that sky is green because of the hailstones. So when that light illuminates you, the larger the hail, the greener the sky is. Usually don't see it at night though, so that lightning is just intense. Let's take a look at where this hail core is. The hail core is right over Sparkman High School and back towards Harvest Elementary. I believe that's going to be Yarborough Road, Ford Chapel Road. I believe that's what that's called. Yeah, a lot of subdivisions out in here too. So let's take the data off. We'll just take a look here. Again, this is a very populated area here out in Madison County. And it's been that way for a while. It just keeps building. So a lot of rooftops out here with hail damage. You got Harvest Elementary there. Yeah, the worst of the hail. Let me turn the lighting off again. The biggest hail is going to be Dorning Road, Carroll Road, right across Old Railroad Bed Road. And this is going to continue to move. It's about ready to cross Highway 53. Get over here, you got the vet up here. I think that's Countryside, maybe. And so large hail's moving through this area, and they got a lot of construction going on in this area too, where they're kind of expanding. They're putting more roundabouts in these areas as well. That's going to be tracking towards Tony, so get ready. A lot of lightning. And this is going to eventually be on the west side of Hazel Green. We got Ready Section Road, Scott Road, where Pulaski Pike kind of makes the turn. Murphy Hill Road. See all these subdivisions out here. So the west side of Hazel Green, and as you go up here closer to the state line, I'll put that into motion. All right, zoom out. I'm going to kind of pause. Whenever you see these little very dark purple or almost black signature, this is a 3-body scatter spike again. It's been a continuous hailstorm here. This is again just out of the viewing area, making the impact on Sneed and Bluntsville. It's gone through Holly Pond. So Marshall County, you've been saved the large hailstones from this storm. Still some very heavy rain. And the more development we can get on the south side here, the more we can kind of get the atmosphere a little bit more stable. I think our hail potential is going to drop some, but it's still probably severe criteria here in northern Madison County, also northern Lauderdale County. And then you get southeast of Russellville. Russellville, I think your threat's probably over for the rest of the night. It's probably over in Florence too. Rain beginning to fall here at the station. You get out here to the west and this isn't nearly as intense as it has been. But boy, lots of lightning. Lightning's down quite a bit, and we're getting this to be really spread out here as you go to Phil Campbell and Hackleburg. Surprised they haven't issued a severe thunderstorm warning on that storm south of Hamilton, just based on what it looks like compared to the other storms in the area. All that lightning. All right, let me check a few messages here real quick. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the Rosalie area as far as alerts go. I haven't heard anything about a tornado in Vinemont. Let's go to Vinemont. Let's go back in time here. Gonna go back. This would have been around 6:30. Check debris signature. Very noisy with the hail. It's possible someone may have talked about rotation. It could be side lobe contamination. So I'll reach out to the Weather Service. Again, that was around 6:30. That storm moved towards Holly Pond. So these storms here on the north side may be weakening a bit up here towards Hazel Green, but they're still possibly severe. Let's see, looking at you. Quarter-size hail in Lexington. Let's see here. $50 size hail in Anderson. All right. Okay, $50 size hail in Anderson. Let's get up here. Yeah, that's it right there. That's that very large hail. Again, this is coming in Minor Hill, and this Giles County is the weather service from Nashville. So again, $50 size hail on the way to Minor Hill, Lester, Bethel, potentially, I stress. Again, viewer reporting $50 size hail with that storm. There's probably still a lot of hail going on with this storm here on the way to the west side of Hazel Green. So again, very intense thunderstorm there. A lot of lightning and very large hail. Decatur, just rain right now. Thunder in the distance. Russellville, just rain as the thunderstorms are tracking to your south and east. Again, we had a tornado earlier today in the Trussville area, northeast of Birmingham. A lot of storm reports coming out now. Just mainly hail. Lots of hail, East Limestone. What size was that hail, Jessica? Gumball size hail. How's Arab looking? Right now, you just got a lot of rain. The most intense thunderstorm part is just to your south. You've got another storm coming in here from the west. We'll keep an eye on that. It has been severe. We're really starting to kind of go into a flood threat here too. So Arab around 7:56, the possibility another severe storm could move in. Quarter size Lexington. The storms are not going to go all night. They're finally going to get out here, but it may take longer than we want. DeKalb County, it's hard to say. Right now, I think a lot of this is clustering together. We're really seeing new development down here in and around Smith Lake. Very heavy rain. So I think our biggest threat, probably in an hour, a lot of this will die down and we'll just go to more of a flood threat. Let me drink a little bit more water. I'll get back on that key wall in a second. A few messages I got to check here as well. Okay. Another $50 size hail report there. Yeah, some of these pictures I've seen look like charcoal. That's how big they are. I'm wondering why the most recent reports. I don't know. You know, Jackson County, they've been, I don't know if it's weather call, but they have like a red alert or something over that way. So it may be the area may be just wrong and may be geofenced in the wrong location. I'm going to take another look at this Bluntsville storm. This one's nasty. Yeah, this is throwing out all kinds of hail. Again, this is south of Sneed, all along the route here, moving towards Altoona. Very large hail. That's probably golf ball size hail there. Again, these are staying to the south of DeKalb County, even though there's a little bit of development there just in the last few scans, but we're not seeing the rapid development we had with some of these other thunderstorms. Between Priceville and Hartselle, Highway 31, lightning's picking up there, probably some smaller hail. We're kind of losing some of the bigger hail core there with that. And up here around, you get up here just north of the Toyota plant in Madison County, moving towards Hazel Green. Again, Hazel Green could get some significant hail there. It's moving in. It's odd. It's like the storm itself is tracking to the east, and the development's on the north side as it moves east. So this is going to stay away from Huntsville. There's rain coming back in here to Athens and Decatur. Priceville, heavy rain. But overall, just a big mess of thunderstorms. Okay, it's the code red alert. There's got to be something going on with the code red alert. I'm asking him right now, see what's going on with that. All right. And lots of messages coming in. See, again, no confirmation in the Vinemont area, but if there is, we should. Thunder in Madison. Yeah, the lightning's very intense. All right. Okay. Severe thunderstorm warning coming out for southwest Lawrence County for half-dollar size hail. Additionally, they're updating the hail size for the warning in northern Lauderdale County for half-dollar size per several reports of that. So we continue with that. Then there's that warning that's been extended up into southern Middle Tennessee, southern Giles County. Again, very large hail, damaging hail. You get over a quarter size and you're talking damage, but when you get half-dollar size, you're talking significant damage to vehicles and rooftops. And a lot of this has to do with the cold core, the colder air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. All right, one last check here. It's busy in the chat. I'm trying to figure out the code red issue as well, but we'll see. Again, this is kind of the first real round of severe weather that's fired up, so it's possible something. Yeah, man, it's called code red. It's just a service. And the counties, I think, provide that service, and you download it. It's similar to a weather app or no weather radio. And you got, I think it's called Thunder Call. There's all sorts of those apps out there. And Weather Call, that's what it's called. With Weather Call, it actually calls you on your phone. All right. Here's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a cluster of thunderstorms, new development right north of Florence. We'll see what happens. I think if this develops and becomes stronger right over Florence, we're a long way from this being over with. So again, we don't know for sure when this is going to be done, but we're starting to see this flooding threat from southern Franklin County in, where you would see Bankhead National Forest. So some issues there. The most intense thunderstorm, well, there's two of them. This one's producing half-dollar size hail moving towards Ardmore. It may actually miss you just off to the north. You're going to have to keep a close eye on that for you folks in Fayetteville over time. But there's kind of a trend here. We've got storms just to the south of Russellville, Moulton, near Hartselle, south of Priceville, well, actually right on Priceville just about right now. But those are tracking off to the east-southeast, almost like there's an arcing boundary, like a ridge. And these storms here are just kind of on their own. They're splitting off to the north. They split off from the thunderstorms earlier this evening. And right in between, majority of the Huntsville metro area, just seeing some gentle thunderstorms right now from Athens down to Decatur, moving into Madison. Nothing, I don't see anything rapidly intensifying in these areas, but again, we're going to watch Florence, and that's going to kind of tell us what we expect for the rest of the night. Let's get into some of these radar views, get a little bit more street level. Falkville, very heavy rain, but the lightning, where we're seeing the lightning, I think that's where the biggest updraft is happening with the storms, and that's where the hail cores are, and the largest hail has been reported. Big storm moved across South Vinemont, Holly Pond, and it continues to move out of the viewing area. That's going to be well south of Albertville, but we get down here into southern parts of Marshall County, and the lightning is very intense, so much that I have to, it's almost like a strobe light. But the biggest hail is just off to your south and west, and this is going to stay south of Boaz too. But heavy rain in Boaz right now, and a little bit more development over here, south of Rainsville and Fort Payne, east of Crossville. Nothing severe with this right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to become severe in the near future, but we'll monitor that as it tracks towards Weiss Lake. The biggest storms in Madison County up here near Meridianville has a history of hail. Haven't had any significant reports of hail out of that storm lately. The most significant has been this half-dollar size hail from this particular storm north of the Elk River as you get into southern Giles County. Storm in Florence, I shouldn't even call it a storm yet because it's just some heavy rain there in downtown Florence, moving off to the east. Russellville, I really think your threat's probably about over. Let's take a look at the radar site closer to you. But we'll have to watch. Let me turn the lightning back on. There's still some thunderstorms out there to the west, but hopefully we've taken some of the energy out of the atmosphere. This storm near Tupelo is pretty strong too. It's probably putting down some large hail. No warning on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is one pretty soon. Let's take a look at the hail here. So we're going to go to that hail potential. It's intensifying. This storm here is getting stronger. That's moving into Tupelo. So be prepared for at least pea-size hail now. It's probably got pea-size hail right now. I'm going to switch radar sites here again, get back home. But when you look this far of a distance, this is probably 200 miles away from the radar site in Jackson County, you really see that core of the thunderstorm. And basically it's going straight up right over Tupelo, and it kind of spreads out a bit, and that's where the heavy rain and the hail kind of spread out. Very intense lightning, heavy rain. Let's see if we're bowing out here a little bit on this storm. What I'm looking for is see if we've got any damaging winds here as this becomes a little bit more uniform. Get the closest radar. Velocity. Not really. We haven't had any damaging wind reports. And I think if we do get reports of trees down, things like that, it's going to come from lightning strikes because there's so much lightning out there. Let's take another look from high top. Again, I'll get into some of these areas, can turn the lightning back on. Lightning's down a little bit in northern Madison County, but that's continuing to move towards Hazel Green, Meridianville. Okay. No additional reports here. No nobody answering my questions either. Getting loud. Did I? I didn't freeze. It's probably your phone. Getting loud in Newmarket. Yeah, that lightning's what's going to get you as far as your power goes. All right. Lightning's down a bit. Let's take a look at the lightning counter. That's a lot of lightning. Went from 355 strikes. I think this is a 10-minute time window. And a lot of the lightning's coming from this beast down here, moving towards Gadsden. Still not seeing any damaging winds here. Take a look at velocity. Yeah, still hail. Hail with this storm moving towards Hazel Green. This is moving more easterly now instead of northeast. So again, this is moving right towards Newmarket. Probably large hail. It's between Meridianville and Hazel Green right now. On Steger Road and Grimwood Road, moving into Walker Lane. Again, when you're looking at the radar, you're looking at this purple area is the large hail, because it's going to reflect a lot more energy. A big wet hailstone. That's all the radar's doing, is it's determining how much energy is returned to the radar. And hailstones are really big at that. Lester, Minor Hill, very large hail. Probably still looking at the potential for $half size hail with that. We'll get over here into Jackson County. I mean, it's very possible all this is going to miss you in Scottsboro. Even Rainsville, Henniger, Stevenson. But at some point, I would imagine these storms up here, if they don't just fall apart, they're going to begin tracking to the southeast, because the whole boundary is going to be moving in and tracking east. The boundaries just got stuck today, and it stalled out. Yeah, southern Marshall County, again, you've got a lot of rain, maybe some pea-sized hail, very intense lightning here. But that's moving away from you. But the additional concern here is going to be these storms here coming in. They may not be severe. They may just be wore out a bit and increase the flooding threat there, especially by tomorrow morning. I mean, this will be gone, but you could still see some flooding overnight with that. All right. So far, no reports of any wind damage. All right, pebble-sized hail in Meridianville. That's probably just the beginning of this. How much in this little area back here? I don't think it's much to be concerned with. All right. Boy, that changed in a hurry there, that little spot. See how that just filled right in? Right here. So the trend here is for a lot of this to be moving east-southeast. Quick check of Florence. That did not flare up, so that's good news. The storm up here is getting a little fatter, but Large hail continues with this storm here. North side of Meridianville, moving into Hazel Green. And unfortunately, especially the west side of town, the west side of Newmarket, you're probably going to see some large hail here. And no update on Vinemont. Yeah, we really don't have a concern with tornadoes the way this is mainly a hail event. All right. But there's quite a bit of hail here. Moving into Hazel Green. Just north of Meridianville Executive Airport. So we got Walker Lane, Butler Road. This is moving right through Hazel Green. Should probably start to get some reports out of Hazel Green. All right. Yeah, lots of hail. What size was that hail in Meridianville? Just out of curiosity. New Hope, you're going to be, I think you're going to be all right now. I mean, mainly just some heavy rain. Yeah. Sardis, Boaz area, very intense lightning, but the biggest hail is down to your south. Let's see if I got any emails here. A lot of getting some emails about the weather app. What happens here on our weather app is it's going to default to future radar. So you have to, again, it's a corporate-wide thing, and we've made mention of we don't like it either, but it hasn't been fixed. So it defaults to future radar. And the other thing with some weather apps is you get a composite image, so you're not seeing the raw data. Like when I come over here, I switched GWX up here. I'm switching to the radar site that's over here, so I'm getting the true radar data coming from that. And some of these other radar images, they're composite images, so you're going to kind of get a marriage between the two radar images, and they put them together as one. I know I'm zooming in and out. Let me get on one standard picture here. All right. You're clear for now, Meridianville. I don't see a whole lot more trouble for the rest of the night, because I think we're seeing a trend of the primary concern is probably going to be this area into the south and east. And these storms here looks like they're weakening back here towards Moulton. Let's take a look at the hail. Yeah, we got a definite weakening trend here. So this is becoming more heavy rain. Even the Morgan County storm's weakening some, but you're probably still going to see Peta dime size hail. The storms that are flaring up more are these two little guys here. North of Elkmont, they're very small, but potent. Yeah, that's just nasty hail here. This hail here is probably golf ball size hail. It's on the east side of Hazel Green. This is moving right down Walker Lane over to Butler Road. So if you live Charity Lane, Bubble Section Road, I think you've been saved from hail, large hail. But boy, it's just such a tight gradient right there. Let's see the lightning on this storm here. Lightning's usually a pretty good indicator. So we're down to 16. We started with we're down to 14. We peaked at 26. So hopefully that storm's going to start weakening. The storm over here, 43 lightning strikes every 10 minutes. Now we're down to 19. So hopefully this one's going to weaken too. because there's going to come a point in time when these get so far north, they're going to run into a less favorable environment. Gadsden, a heck of a storm moving in there. Again, the storm here south of Moulton is weakening. I don't think it's severe anymore. I never show Somerville on the map. Well, let's get Somerville taken care of. Somerville and Valormosa Springs, there's Somerville. Again, that hail is just south of you, south of Brewer High School. But there's a lot of lightning there, that's for sure. Thanks, Nicole. All right. Severe thunderstorm warning for northern Limestone, northeast Lauderdale has been canceled. Storm split. Well, that's also out of the area. So our most intense thunderstorms right now are this little small one near Newmarket, the one south of Pulaski, north of the Elk River. It's probably going to track just north of Ardmore. And then this storm here that's been going for a long time. The Hartselle storm, Somerville, that one's intense, but I mean, it's strong for February, that's for sure. But I think it's in a weakening stage, so there's some good news there. They just canceled the warning for the south of Moulton. So again, we're starting to get a weakening trend going here, and that's good news. Ardmore, I just mentioned you. I think you're going to be all right. I think most of this is moving just north. Of course, when you get some of these smaller communities, people say, I live in Ardmore, but you may be 5 miles north of Ardmore, so I always have to be cautious of that. Okay, check that link there. This page is not available right now. Yeah, I just lost power in Tupelo. It's that lightning. I mean, that's a nasty storm. That should have a severe thunderstorm warning on it. I bet the hail's pretty big too. Oh yeah, that's a severe thunderstorm right there. That's probably producing quarter-size hail. Again, there's no warning out for that storm. Let's take a look at the yeah, it's got the classic look that they've all had today. Again, if we had any wind shear in the low levels, that thing would probably produce a tornado. But we just don't have that ingredient. We're missing that because you kind of see how we've got the inflow here. Bounded weak echo region is what we call that. Stop looping. That's not letting me do that. There we go. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go to the key wall with this one. This is a supercell here. So what we've got going on is down here at the bottom. Again, if this was a highly sheared atmosphere, we would see a possible tornado developing within that. So again, that's a bounded weak echo. You see the overhang here? So we've got the updraft in that thunderstorm. It's carrying it all the way to the north. It's about 40,000 foot top on that. And you got this, what we call bounded weak echo region, which is going to be this area right here. So very intense thunderstorm here. Again, this is over there near Tupelo and on the east side of Tupelo. So again, this is the updraft right here. Very strong rotating updraft. It rotates as it gets way up in the atmosphere, but definitely a bad storm there. So again, that's Tupelo. They get reports of power outages there, but that's probably co-located with lightning strikes too. So let's get back to our territory here. Take a look at high top radar. What we're seeing here, and I really want to pinpoint this out because a lot of you are like, when's this going to be over? All of this area here is becoming just heavy rain. Lightning's backing off quite a bit. We still have this monster down here near Gadsden, that big hailstorm there. And then as we get up here towards Newmarket. So get back in here towards Somerville. I'm going to go into Arab. Take a closer look here. The worst of that lightning's east of Somerville, and it's probably not coming back. So there's some good news there. So this storm here is kind of spreading out a little bit more. The hail is just south of Brewer High School, between there and Eva, between Somerville and Eva. But it's probably dime sized. And there may be a lot of it. We've had a lot of reports of a lot of hail in general. And then you get some of these larger hailstones. Lightning's pretty intense here as you get near Vinemont again, south of Falkville, right on the Coleman County line. And that's usually indicative of the potential for hail. And I think the hail is probably just ahead of it here. So that's moving in. Once again, another storm coming into Vinemont. This hail core is probably going to stay south of Eva. Heavy rain there. So we're down to just, for our area, 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. And eventually, we may see an additional warning here coming into Fayetteville. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on the storm up here near Newmarket and the storm moving towards Fayetteville. So as we get in here a little bit closer, you can see the large hail here. It's east of Hazel Green. And that other storm's not going to come into Hazel Green, so I think you're going to be all right there. But this is moving up towards Huntland. It's been on a consistent track there. We'll go in a little bit closer here and get street level. I'm going to turn off the lightning. Plevna, it's coming to town. Here we got Mint Springs Road, Mint Road, Butler Road, Beth Road, Newmarket itself. The larger hail is just to the west of the downtown area, so to speak, of Newmarket. So if you live west of town in Newmarket, you've got the large hail there. So let's get over here towards Elkton, Ardmore. This storm hanging on, but you can see north of Bethel is where we have the larger hail. This is probably, it's going to be close to Elkton, but may end up just to the north of there. Let me track this for Fayetteville, just to give you a heads up. I'm hoping this weakens before it comes in. So I'm going to move this at about, let's say 33 miles an hour. So Ardmore, again, I think the north side of town. Elkton is in the most likely path and just north of there. And this is crossing I-65 too. It's going to cross I-65 in southern Middle Tennessee here in about 10 minutes. So if you know someone coming southbound, once they get to that Highway 64 exit, I think that's the exit that says head to Lynchburg, Tennessee on that, probably want to just pull over and wait this one out. They can probably see it too coming in. Again, you're not going to get any radio broadcast on this. That's why I wish more people had, I wish we had weather radio in cars, because that's the most vulnerable place, especially when it comes to flash flood warnings. But this storm here may move into Fayetteville around 8:38. It's currently 7:53. Tracking 2 storms with a history of large hail, one in northern Madison County. This is going to be close to Huntland in about 30 minutes up into Tennessee and south of Winchester. We'll have to see if it turns to the right a little bit and makes its way towards High Top. That's still a possibility, so you're still in the mix, so to speak, here with this. The largest hail we've had reported today has been with this storm north of Elkmont. No way to know for sure right now if it still is, because we'll have to wait on some of those reports coming out. But overall, we're starting to see a weakening trend here with the showers activity from Decatur back here to the west towards Russellville. Then a nasty storm. We'll put a track on this storm that's in Tupelo right now. Give you a track here. That one is moving more east, and I think it's going to continue to move east. So this storm here near Fulton probably has large hail. This one's going to track more towards probably south of Hackleburg near Hamilton. So again, no warning on this, but I'm pretty sure this is a severe thunderstorm, especially for this time of year. So we're talking Vina. Again, this is going to be down here into extreme southern Franklin County around 8:28, Hodges 8:39, and Hackleburg 8:41. So we'll take a bit of a break here. But that is a nasty looking storm there, moving into Fulton. All right, let me reset this view. Start with radar. I'm approaching 8 o'clock this evening on a busy Thursday night in the weather office. Man, those two little cells just don't want to give up. And that one there just got bigger, it looks like. Got wider anyway, moving up into southern middle Tennessee. So again, uniform line of showers and storms. Slight uptick here in the hail size, potentially. This is going to be northeast of Eva, near Center Grove, Ryan Crossroads. Probably going to end up near the Ruth community, north of Joppa. And again, Arab, possibility this storm could come in with some hail. It's got a lot of lightning and very heavy rain as well. Oh, you bet. Hey, thanks, Joseph. Oh, David must be talking about that 3D graphic there. Yeah. I need to learn to use that a little bit more when we get... I don't always get to do that 3D view because we usually have storms all around. I could probably do that on that storm near Pulaski. All right. Okay, accumulation of hail. Yeah, that's probably going to lead to hail fog there, Kelly, off of Walker Lane, I think. Yeah, lots of hail. Bad road flooding. How much water would you say is over the road? Not looking at anything tornadic tonight. Especially the storms to the north, those are really far away from any wind shear. The wind shear's kind of been hanging out in the Birmingham area today. Check the weather service. All right, weather service, they're expiring this severe thunderstorm warning for Morgan and Coleman counties. And they're going to go with a special weather statement. They don't think that it will become severe again, but if something changes, they'll let us know. So that is this storm here. They're letting the severe thunderstorm warning expire. So we're down to 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me see what I can do with this one here. All right. I gotta hit that first. Go into this storm here. Definitely not as pronounced as the other one. I think we're looking more. So basically here with this storm, that's kind of cool though. What we see is there's somewhat of a overshooting top here. I mean, not overshooting top, but the latest update. Let me get out of here. So we've got the updraft. And this is another short thunderstorm. This is like 35,000 feet or so. So you got the updraft here on the northern edge of this storm. And then it comes over, and if you've ever kind of looked at the sky and you see that anvil, this is kind of in the opposite direction. So the most intense part of this storm is the northern side of the storm. It's kind of interesting how the updraft goes here, and it had that little bit of an overshooting top edge, that almost like a reverse anvil on that. So that was pretty intense there. I'll take a look at that other storm too in a second. Let me back out here. So we kind of go back. Oh, this one's wild. So let's take a look at this one here. Let's see if I can move that. Let's clear it. Just a severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln County for that thunderstorm. Give me back my radar data. What's interesting is the back edge here is doing the same thing. They're both doing the same thing. And the reason we don't, I mean, normally you'd kind of think rotation, but all that's happening here is this is going straight up into that thunderstorm on the northern edge. And it just keeps maintaining that hail potential. See how sharp that is? It's going straight up. All right. Let's go ahead and reset the view here. So our two severe thunderstorm warnings, one up here into southern middle Tennessee, the other one up here into Newmarket. I'll go ahead and take a look at storm relative velocity. Just, that's an interesting little feature there. Wow, that's some big time hail. Again, you're getting accumulating hail. That is just wild. Again, that's that continuous updraft right on the back of the edge of this storm. So get ready. And this is northeast of Newmarket now. It's going to be Plevna, and some of you take this road up to Huntland on your way up to Timms Ford Lake. Narrow stretch of road here, but heads up Huntland. This storm maintains, and it looks like it's going to. And that's with the updraft on the northern side of that, that's where we're seeing the most intense lightning. Kind of displaced from where you'd normally find it. So I'm going to cheat that a little bit more northwest than the polygon is. So Huntland 827, Cowan, Tennessee at 9 o'clock. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that 3D is great, but I can't use it when we get lines of storms because it's really hard to see it. So when we get supercells, that's when we see it. In fact, I'm probably going to practice at that and see if I can get that from the key wall. Oh, I bet. That hail's something, especially if you got a metal roof. Yeah, it kind of looked like a hook on that north side, but again, that was just that updraft. So Lincoln Moore, Franklin County, severe thunderstorm warning in effect there. Again, it's just barely covering that up towards Lynchburg. Again, if I don't see your questions, it's because I'm monitoring the Brad Travis WAFF Meteorologist page. I think we got the stream shared in multiple places. Storm in Pulaski, that's going to stay south of Pulaski. But let me get on here and see what I can do with this 3D view. Get a little bit more practice. Don't get a lot of practice with that 3D view here. Lightning's maintaining. Very large hail now crossing I-65 at Elkton. That exit. So again, these are dangerous storms in regards to the lightning and the amount of rain and the hail, of course. So let's go and see if I can do this with the hand tracking. I haven't really done this much. Click on the pancakes. Whoops. Do that. Hey, there we go. So as I turn this on its side, I think I can rotate it like this. You see we got that little overhang there on the back. Oh, the lightning, I'll turn the lightning off. Kind of gets in the way. So turn that off too if I can. So again, I zoom in here. These are only up to, this is less than 30,000 feet. Typically when we have these supercell storms, this would be like a mini supercell, but it's acting like a bigger supercell. But we'll get these areas that'll be 60,000 feet or so. And it's just because it's still the cold season, so to speak. But as I kind of look around here, not a whole lot with that. Again, the updraft's been on this northern side of the storm. You kind of get the view there. As you can see, I've got more practice I need to do. So let's go ahead and go back and take another look here. I'm going to spread this out and go back to our normal view here. I'm going to stop the streaming here in a little bit as well. We're just kind of keeping an eye, kind of babysitting some of these storms. Again, there's no tornado threat the way it looks right now with these storms. Click my home button and go back. So the most intense storms are moving across the state line. In fact, Fayetteville, still the possibility of some large hail as that comes in. A very intense thunderstorm here. Turn the lightning back. Again, these have all been hailstorms. So any trees down, power lines down, most likely will be lightning. Still haven't heard any more reports out of northern Coleman County from earlier this evening. Again, we're in a hilly terrain over here northeast of Newmarket. Going to expand this view out here. Arab, heavy rain coming in, maybe pea-sized hail, but the lightning's going away here. Still some lightning, and you're going to hear that, and the acoustics are pretty good out there tonight for that, so we're going to continue with some of that. But as we get farther out here, again, this is transitioning into heavy rain with smaller hail and a lot of lightning out there. So we're going to turn the stream off. Again, I'll give you some updates as needed on social media, but this is all kind of moving out, so I don't think we'll see any severe weather in the Huntsville metro area for the rest of this evening. And even over here towards DeKalb County and Jackson County, I think things are quieting down as we're becoming rain cooled. But watch out there if you got to get out and about. Could see some flooding. We've already had reports of that. And some of these roads will be slick with the hail that's fallen across the road. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we'll be here when you need us the next time. It's been a First Alert Weather Day, that's for sure.